Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Lunchtime Linkup Series, where we speak with members of the DivInc community about how we're impacting the tech community with diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in mind. I am your host, Sharice Luter. I'm the marketing director here at DivInc. And today we are midway with our Meet the Founder series, where we're speaking to our 2022 Sports Tech Accelerator program cohort. And today we have top prospect. We have Eddie and, well, should I say Eddie and Eddie, Eddie 1, Eddie 4.
Or, yeah, however you want to do
Eddie
it.
3
I
and
think it's
Eddie
good.
4 with us, the two founders of Top Prospect. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about Top Prospect, and then we'll get into our conversation. Um, Eddie 3, you can take it away.
Absolutely. First off, thanks for having us. My name's Eddie Davis. I'm the founder of Top Prospects, and I'll let Eddie Ford introduce himself.
My name is Eddie Davis IV, co-founder of Top Prospect.
Yeah, and Top Prospect is a Web3 platform community that we look to empower young talent across the world. As we like to say, we empower people to be the first fan of a future star and allow athletes and student athletes to chase their dreams by monetizing their name, image, likeness, and data.
So, well, the one thing that I think I want to say, that might be the first time some of our audience even heard Web3 and heard a lot of the words you just said. Actually, can you tell us a little bit about what that is and how y'all are utilizing it with your particular product?
Yeah, first off, we start with actually solving a problem that's been around, especially through my journey being an athlete, coming through, trying to get exposure, not having the finances to get access to quality information and quality training. So that's the problem we're really solving. Web3 is just the latest technology that allow us to solve that problem. But in the past and currently, we solve it through partnership, through mentorship, through allowing kids and connecting kids to coaches and scouts and access to that quality information. And just Web3 just allows us to scale that and help more people globally. And I don't know if Eddie, you want to add anything to that, but it's just the latest tech that we can use to really lower that barrier for athletes and student athletes globally.
Yeah, I'll say with what we're doing now, it's really an NFT marketplace, which I know a lot of people, the word NFT, Web3, there was a time when my dad can tell you I didn't understand for sure. But I've come to realize how like our marketplace can empower and connect athletes and sports organizations and schools with their communities in a way like that's like hasn't been done before yet. And I think it's really important on our platform to realize that we'll be able to like also have an NIL deal in the form of an NFT, if that makes sense. And so it's something really unique. And like even like I know people are trying to get their heads wrapped around it, but it's actually really simple and something that's like being done offline and not like a web in like a non-web3 way. And all we're really doing is using that technology to like connect the local brands, local sponsors with that one athlete or that one sports organization, but also allow them to fundraise in a way like never before as well. So we kind of like solve our mission of like empowering that athlete, but also empowering the community with like that local brand and allowing them to like engage with both.
Right, right.
So it really is a new tool that's being used to solve an old problem, and y'all are employing it in y'all's particular way to empower athletes, if I have that right.
Absolutely. And like Eddie mentioned, the keyword fundraise. So think back to, I know when I was in high school, you had the raffle tickets, you had the selling the candy, you have the selling the popcorn now is the popular thing to do. So you have all these washing cars, you have all these fundraising programs and mechanisms. So, all of those things are really geared around supporting programs, supporting athletes, supporting students, supporting schools and organizations. So when you look at it that way, you can think about it as a new way to fundraise and support. And it's just leveraging the technology in Web3 and NFTs, non-fungible tokens, is just that vehicle that allows us to do that on a grander scale.
So when someone is let me back up. When a person decides, yes, I want to get on your platform, yes, I want to utilize these tools, what do they do? What is that process like, and what's that experience like for them?
Right, right. And key word is the process, and that's something that you want to make as easy as possible when you're talking about new tech. So right now, they will go to our website, and we have a simple form that they will fill out, an inquiry form of interest, first off. So we get a chance to know a little bit more information about what they're looking to do, what category they're looking to create an NFT in, and from that they get a chance to upload their data and content to us in the same form that they currently already do on social media or YouTube, or sending emails or attaching a Word document or a JPEG or whatever the case may be. So it's that same process. So that process is well known and simple. From that, we like to take a lot of that legwork away from them and do that behind the scenes, where we can produce something for them that they can enjoy, like, and approve, and something that really reflect what they're trying to get across, which is their best assets, their best talents, in the form of an NFT, which we think is creative, and it looks nice, and it's something that's not currently out there in the marketplace today. And I don't know, Eddie, you may want to add to that as well.
Yeah, too, and on the NFT buyer side as well, kind of reverse from the creator side.
Mm-hmm.
All someone have to do is see some of our marketing, or see their favorite athlete, local high school athlete, favorite college athlete on our platform, or even a local sports organization, and then go on our marketplace and just buy the NFT from there. And I think the big difference with like our NFTs and like what's out there too is like that connection with that local brand that can also provide a utility along with like the athlete or the organization. So like people who buy it, they may buy it for like one of like 2 or 3 reasons other than like, an actual investment. And supporting is also a piece too, but they may also want to buy it because they can actually get like real-time value out of it, which is like very important, to like the common person. So right. I think that's like a big factor as well.
So I love the fact that y'all are, throwing around the terms and really showing your expertise in this. But how did you get here? How did you? I mean, I think everyone that I've talked to about that are working in this space, it's been during the pandemic, or within the last year, and then really understanding Web3 and NFT, but also the application of. So how did y'all get here, and how were you introduced to this, and then figured out a way to then say, okay, this is how we can apply it?
Yeah, I guess I'll start since I'm the oldest one
Been
here.
doing it the longest.
Right, been doing it the longest. But for me, it was personal. Like I said, I'm a former student athlete. Had to go from New Orleans to LA on a train ride. It wasn't no internet at the time. In 1990, I graduated from high school in 1990. I had family members in LA that told me I needed exposure. Couldn't afford to travel. We wound up working for Amtrak at the time. I had a family pass. So long story short, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have got the exposure to move forward in my career, and went on to play in the College World Series in 1993 with Long Beach State. Dirtbags, go Dirtbags. Also with the Los Angeles Dodgers from 93 to 98 in the system. So in the year in Quebec. So that's my personal story. So I went through that process of the barriers and trying to cross those hurdles. So from that point on, I always wanted to solve that problem. Had started nonprofits to address the issue from a nonprofit standpoint, giving back to the hood, which we did a lot of work, but that was limited. Couldn't scale that as much. And then moving forward, I always was a tech person, sports and tech guy, interested in tech, and was an MIS major. So from that time, I always was looking for technology to really solve that problem, lower the barrier, and allow me to scale to help as many people as I can. And just this concept kind of came up, obviously leveraging Web3, well, actually in Web2, moving forward into Web3 and NFTs allows us to do that. And I'll let Eddie comment on how he got involved and through COVID. I think that's an interesting story as well.
Yes, I think kind of like opposite from my dad now, I've always especially recently been on the athlete side. So I've been like in the problem, I guess, like definitely like the people we're trying to solve the problem for, like his much younger self. But
much stings a little, but go ahead.
Yeah, during COVID, I think for sure, like, I think everyone had the time to just like sort of like buckle down and like, be with like themselves and like their families, especially their immediate family. Which for me at the time, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I, didn't really know that much about NFTs. I didn't really know that much about, everything like, my dad obviously has become an expert on. But, he, got me involved, honestly. And I'm grateful for that because, I started to learn, I started to like educate myself and like see the opportunity. And I think once I saw the opportunity, like I sort of just like rolled with it and like started iterating with him. Um, and I came out of COVID sort of like rolling, doing a lot of like accelerators, doing a lot of programs at like my university, Notre Dame, networking a lot, spreading the word of like what we're trying to do, trying to get help, hiring people. And so I think I've come a long way in that sense. And became somewhat of maybe, I don't know if I can consider myself an expert in the area because I'm still 20, but I will say I do probably have more experience than most 20-year-olds. So I can say that. Um, and honestly, that is all thanks to him, ultimately, especially starting that time during COVID, because I probably wouldn't have gotten involved if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, and he'll learn as really no expert in tech. It changes so fast.
Yeah.
Former career when I worked with Cisco Systems, I mean, you just can't keep up. It was always another version coming out, another tech. So the thing about it is to stay current. And I always like to say, just stay back where you can relate the new tech to just normal, common ways that people can relate to, and usually you come out fine.
So what's it been like building the company itself? I know the technology y'all seem to really have gotten a hold of that and are experts in that space. But that the other part of being in our accelerator is building the company itself and making sure it's ready to take on all of the new challenges that venture fundraising will bring. And so I'm wondering what's that been like building the actual company itself together.
Yeah, this is probably my third or fourth, I would say, startup. In the late '90s, I had a company, greedygreedy.com, right before Food Network, and the bubble burst in 2000. Started a tech company, grew that too fast. So obviously, with most entrepreneurs, you're going to have those failure stories that you failed. Obviously, I don't call them failures because you learn so much from going through that process. So, I know everyone would say it's all about time in the market, and a lot of that is true, but I come to realize it's more time in the market. So you can time the market by obviously looking at trends and really doing your research and studying. And that taught me that to really look at trends. You can't just willy-nilly go out and start companies without looking at some historical data. But then from that, you got to have this time in the market, because things like today, when the market's down, stocks are down, crypto is down, you want to have that time in the market that you can kind of withstand that, and pace yourself. So that's been a journey for me. Obviously, bringing on my son is a blessing, to get him involved in it, where he has true interest in it. It's a lot of help for me. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
What about
Yeah,
you?
I think for me too, it's like kind of been the same. I think I've learned a lot. Like I said, I'll be very careful to not say I'm, a full blown expert, but I have learned a lot over the years that we've been doing this, and I think uh, in terms of building the company, I think our dynamic has been interesting, especially when I'll tell people, like, who's your co-founder? Oh, my dad. They always think like, wow, like, a lot of problems must arise from that. A lot of issues, family feuds, what have you. But honestly, I think it's been really good because, he's, has a background in tech. He's had those startups in the past. So I can learn from him so that like, together with like, I think my like fresh point of view on things and like my sort of like, expertise in like marketing and sales, like the areas that like I've studied and like learned my best in. In that sense, I think we have a sort of good like input output sort of dynamic team wise, and I think that's why we've been able to iterate so much and get garner a good amount of support from a lot of people who otherwise I don't think wouldn't have believed in us. I think they do because like, when they meet us, I think they see how we can like work together well and how we will probably do anything to like, realize our dreams.
Have there been any big surprises as y'all have been going through this last, let's say the during the accelerator in these last 10 weeks? Have there been any huge surprises, any big um, pivots or aha moments that you've kind of had to put into place to move yourselves forward?
Yeah, well, with tech, like I said, it changes so much with the market, especially Web3. The surprise for me, how quickly the market is developing, right? Everyone has an NFT company or, just popped on the scene. I think COVID was an accelerator for that. I kind of knew it was going to grow, that COVID accelerated everything. So just to see how many companies is popping up in the industry is good for the market. But it also allows us to reassess what we're looking to do. But then when it comes down to it, I always go back and I tell Eddie this: what is the problem that we originally was trying to solve? And if you kind of stick with that, I think you'll be okay. But it's easy to get lost in that because you want, your competitor. You look at what everyone else is doing. So we do have those small pivots that you have to make to stay relevant as things changes so fast. And one of those pivots for us was to not only include top athletes and for top prospects, but it's also top prospect artists, top prospect professionals, or any really top talent at the high school, college level. So for us, it was about equity with that. We saw the market where everyone just focusing on those top athletes, which is great. That top 10%, top 5%. But, for me, developing athletes right now in the age group from 6 to 20 years old, I kind of know the statistics of that and how many really make it. So for us, it's all about creating a platform for the masses, and I think that was the slight pivot for us to really focus on that.
And any surprises for you, Eddie?
I'd say no real super big surprises. I will say though, I have had some moments that like I think were really, I wouldn't say essential, but I would say integral to like me learning more and just like refining in on like what we want to do right now with like our company. I'd say like there was a day I was on the whiteboard, and I think I had a one-on-one with Amanda, and I think Ashley came in, and we all started talking, and I think they started pecking me with questions as I was like writing on the whiteboard, trying to like hone out like the pitch and like the story, but also like a business model and like how it all work and like what's the best way, what's the best like version of it for like the most scalability. And I think them like both of their like expertise in like their different areas helped me a lot. And like I sort of had like that moment where the light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
And I sort of like understood like the next level of probably like how people my age like probably aren't at right now, just on how like things work on like that level where the business can actually expand beyond like what it is. Like right now, like pre-launch, it can be hard for like a lot of founders to see, beyond. Like we can only project. And I think like, that day I was able to like really see beyond like what it could become in like 2-3 years because of like what they were like, helping me figure out.
It's hard to kind of see beyond what even you can imagine, and then to kind of create that vision beyond even where you think it could go. And I love hearing that through the work that y'all did with the accelerator, that it expanded the reach that y'all had with your audience and the possibilities in that space. You touched a little bit about the collaboration in the room with Ashley and Amanda, our Houston team, and I'm wondering what's the collaboration been like with your fellow cohort members, and because we're very deliberate about how we put together the cohorts to make sure that you all can grow individually, but also grow together. And so I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what it's been like working with the your fellow cohort members?
Let you start it. You
Yeah.
take that one first.
Yeah. So, while I've been here, I want to say that like as like the youngest one in the group, I definitely feel like everyone's younger brother. Um, especially, I can relate most to Destin and our cohort because he's, my age. But then
Yeah.
like beyond him, everyone's, always like keeping me in check, holding me accountable, being really hard on me. Every little thing I say is like a huge test for them. But I think that's really good because it helps me sort of like, sort of like I think their age too. And beyond that, thinking like in more like open-minded way. And it kind of like tests me to like be better than I think I am in any given moment. So it always helps me improve constantly, even though I may not act that way in the moment with them, and I may have to like prove myself. I really do appreciate that, that collaboration aspect, that teamwork, even though we're all on individual teams.
Yeah. What about you? And
Yeah, for me, it's good to see, everyone working on trying to solve their problems in the industry, in the sports tech industry, and you can see the overlap. But more importantly, you can see the talent. So, like Eddie said, he feels like the little brother. I feel like the big brother or slash uncle of everyone in the group. So, with that responsibility, quote unquote responsibility that you feel, you want to help everyone out. So, always look to see how can I help, Devin, how can I help Jeremy, how can I help this group? I mean, because that's the first thing coming to mind. Because being older, you kind of been through the process. So I've been in their shoes. I kind of know what they're going through. I have a little bit more patience now, and I always kid with Destin. I say, yeah, I was like you when I was your age, and I love to see that energy. So for me, I really love it because there's a lot of talent. I mean, it's definitely a lot of talent, and I always kid with them. I say, yeah, I need to get NFTs of all you guys because you will be looking for on the platform. We want the top talent. We want to corral the top talent in the world, and it kind of starts with the cohort that we have. So it's all good.
well, y'all are in preparation mode for demo day on June 30th here at the Ion in Houston. And I know there's pitch practicing. I know there's, getting yourselves ready for VC meetings. And I'm just wondering, what is the most exciting thing that's happening for you right now going into demo day and even beyond that? What are some things y'all are looking forward to?
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to the official launch of our NFT marketplace. So I think it's about ready. And it's going to launch probably right there on demo day, that day or July 1st. Also, some great partnerships that we have with several sports agencies around that, we're going to be the provider, NFT marketplace provider of choice. Excited about that. Excited about really closing first sponsor, Finisher Active. To be just on our sample NFT. So that says a lot about the opportunity there that we can close someone just to be on our sample and on our website, the apparel company. So excited about that as well, keeping that going. So there's a lot going on with a startup. So there's a lot to be excited about and also a lot of work to do. So we look forward to showing that to the world on demo day and kind of moving forward on launch day and really making it happen.
So if any of a member of our community wants to connect with you and be ready for whenever you roll out the marketplace, what should they do? How do they get connected with you?
Yeah, so I'd say, my email is edavisiv@topprospect.io. My dad's email is edavis@topprospect.io. You can always reach out on Instagram, Top Prospect NFTs, our website, anything, we'll be there to respond and engage. We're always interested. So let us know.
Perfect. And what's one particular personal thing that y'all are looking forward to moving into the close of the accelerator and moving on? Maybe some rest. I don't know, but
yeah, but I think it's gonna be probably a feeling that you don't want it to end. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's like a family, right? So for me, it's really hopefully we can keep it going. Stay in contact, stay with the family. Keep in contact with the family and keep it going and leverage each other. So That's my personal feeling and goal.
Yeah, the group chat Slack is called DivInc Family, so that's very fitting. I think for me too, I think rest maybe 5% of it, but like my dad was saying, 95% of it will be like, man, like this is really over. Uh, it's been nice be able to be here too, like in person in Houston. I think the connection, especially being at the Ion, is like super unique. It's a very unique place. I've never known a place like that with so much entrepreneurial spirit, in a way. So, not having, that connection with like DivInc too will be like something, obviously we're launching, so we're moving on to like, our product of the accelerator. But at the same time, it is kind of sad. So
Right.
Well, I mean, you're like you said, you're part of the family. You can't get rid of us now. We're here, and we're always here at the Ion, of course. DivInc offices out of here. So if ever you're looking for us, you can come find us over here, and we can continue to give you a hard time. That's no problem.
There you go.
Well, as I said, demo day for the 5G Sports Tech Accelerator, done in partnership with Verizon, is on June 30th here in Houston at the Ion. You can go to our divinc.org/events page to register and get your spot. And that is it for this episode. Thank you so much to Eddie and Eddie for being here and talking with me about your work, about your experience in the accelerator. And I know y'all are really, really busy right now, so I'm really honored that you all sat with me and chatted with me today. We will have another episode coming up, and until then, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you then. Bye.